Hang on. All right, I need to say that again. It's 9:02 a.m. Tuesday, December the 10th, 2024. And I'd like to open up the meeting with a prayer. Brother Danny's going to say the invocation for us.
Father, first of all, we want to thank you for the wake-up call today, Lord. I thank you for this day, Lord, I've never seen, never see again, Lord. I ask you to lead us in this court, Lord, as we make decisions, Lord, and help us, Lord God, to represent your kingdom at all times. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. We'll call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Order in the court. We do have a quorum. I'd like to acknowledge all the guests that are here today. Do we have anybody signed up for public? All right, so we can go right into the consent agenda. As far as meetings from the previous minutes.
All of them but two ready, so I'll be sending them to y'all as soon as I get
Okay.
the last two, and then we'll be completely clear.
Hey, I do have a question on the minutes. How can we, so in 2024, there were times where we tabled items that were on the agenda. How do we look back and see a list of all the items that were tabled? Are they itemized? I mean, are they broke out and said, here's the items that we didn't address that were tabled that are still, because when you table them, they're still out there, right? They still need to be addressed.
Yeah.
How do we get that list?
We can look through the agendas and the minutes and make a notation, and we can make you a list.
I think, Judge, I think it'd be good in our next meeting before we close out the year, if we had those.
Yeah.
We could look back and say, hey, here's the things that we tabled for whatever reason. Do we need to pick them up first quarter, or do we just need to dismiss them, whatever it may be?
Some of them that are tabled have actually been addressed, so, I mean.
Yes, I think some of them we address on a couple of court meetings
So
later.
we would have to look at the agendas and minutes. to
Okay.
see if what's been tabled, what's been taken care of, and what's just left hanging.
Yeah, I just want what all tabled action items that have not been addressed.
Okay.
All right, we've got our monthly reports from, all the departments. I know, Melissa Berg said 20 hours of continuing education from the schooling she had. So with what we have, I need a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I make that motion that we accept the agenda as represented.
All right, motion is made by Commissioner Benson. I'll go ahead and second it. All in favor? All against? All right, we'll move right along to deliberating and consider action on the following items. Item number 1, discuss and approve copier replacements for JP3, tax assessor collector, county clerk, and agri-life offices. Okay, those are at the end of life.
Yes, current replacement, up for renewal. The one for JP3, the monthly lease on that is $120 a month. There's no savings. It's gonna continue to be $120 a month. And it's Canon DXC 259. The TAC and AgriLife, the tax assessor is a 58-month lease. Right now it's at $317 added to the current lease, and there's going to be a savings of $72.62 on that one. Going to go down. Okay, that's the tax. And then the AgriLife is going to be, let's see, that one.
It was 2 and 1.
That's what I'm looking at. Okay, I guess the AgriLife and the tax assessor are together, is what it is. These two are together in one lease,
Okay,
and that's why it's $317.
That's the county clerk
County
also.
clerk, right here, 60-month lease is $165.83 per month. Current lease is $195. The savings is gonna be $29.17 per month. And that's for Pay's office.
There's no way we can get up, buy these.
If we do, it would cost us more money to try to buy. I mean, what they have, these are like 20,000, I mean, these are big machines.
Everything I know in my office, the upkeep on it, any kind of maintenance, the owner and everything, that's all part of this. It's complete focus. That would be a big expense for us because we use our printer to make everything.
And if copiers come up that we don't need, like the one in the Newton Library, we're taking them off lease. Like, I mean, I think the one in the Newton, I mean, the Deweyville Library, one copy was made in the last probably 3 or 4 months. So we're watching those close, and as soon as those leases come up, either we're switching them out for another machine somewhere else or taking them completely off lease.
Yeah.
3 down to 1.
Yes, so I mean, he's really helping us try to get,
Something like the, Dewville, if they might only made one copy, we could purchase a small machine to put there and do away with the rental.
well, I basically told him that they could go to, if somebody needs to come up there and makes a copy, they can go to JP's office, or they can go to the tax office. We don't need a copier for one copy.
Yeah.
They can just go to one of the offices. They can go to Tasha's office. I mean, it's very rare that anybody, I think, comes up there, and it may have been something that they did at the library themselves, so. Anyway, that's where we're at. He's trying to help us get our copiers under control. I think what had happened is through the years, say an office needed a color copier and they were under a black and white contract, they would literally move that black and white copier to another office just to, keep it, because it wasn't, they couldn't swap it out. So they would, and that's how we ended up with all these copiers.
Also, can you check status on the one in my office, because they were to pick that up when they replaced Nicole's. But they left it because that would leave me without one.
He told us something
Yeah,
the
he
other
said
day
he has
about
to
that.
pick it up, or something.
Yeah, 'cause he did tell, he was talking to Becky about that. I know he
Yeah,
had
he's-
some
Just
conversation.
going to get it. Well, if need be, instead of replacing that, we could just get Shannon or someone just to reroute me to that one copier. I would be okay with that.
Okay. And y'all just have this, yeah.
I mean, really, it's just a.
Well, that's what we have. We have one copier in our whole office.
I would be fine with that. Like I say, mine was up for contract and he was to pick it up that day. And he just said, I'll leave it. So if that's up for contract, then I would,
Okay.
we have a color printer in Nicole's. So that I'd be okay with rerouting that. We just need IT to help us.
Okay.
Because I know that is compatible and there's no net data issues or I3 issues or anything with that. Because Nicole's already operating off it. So we could do that. We could get out of one printer mall.
Okay. We'll check on that. Thank you, Donna.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I guess I'll make a motion to approve copier replacements for the JP3 Tax Assessor Collector's Office, County Clerk, and AgriLife offices.
I second motion.
All right, motion made by me, second by Commissioner Powell. All in favor? All against? All right, moving on to item number 2. Accept amended resignation of Justice of the Peace Precinct 2, Brenda Smith, reflecting a retirement date of December 31st, 2024. So her original letter stated she was going to retire January the 10th. She has rescinded that and moved it to December 31st of this year. And so we need to accept her amended retirement date.
Make that motion.
All right, motion made by Commissioner White,
I second.
second by Commissioner Benson. All in favor? All against? Item number 3 is accept appointment of Carla Brooks to fill vacancy created by the resignation of Justice of the Peace Precinct 2 to reflect an effective start date of January the 1st, 2025. And that's going to put Carla starting January the 1st instead of January the 11th, as we originally stated last meeting. So,
I make that motion that we amend the appointment. Paula Brooks. Paula Brooks.
I'll second.
all right, motion made by Commissioner Benson, second by Commissioner White. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? All right. Item number 4, approved contract between American National Leasing and Newton County for the purchase of a 2024 F-150 for the Sheriff Department. And Sheriff Burby is not here.
You have a contract on your desk, they were supposed to be sent.
I have it in DocuSign, but I can't get into it.
Okay, so we'll table that till next court.
We can.
We have to have the contract.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I seen it yesterday, but I could not log into it. So I make a motion, we table this to the next Commissioners Court
We
meeting.
have to do it before the end of the year. Because we need to pay that.
Yeah, they sent it yesterday.
And it's for the truck that's sitting out here. We've already received the vehicle.
So are we using the vehicle?
No,
No.
it's not gonna be used until January 1.
So I guess I'll make a motion, we table this until the next Commissioners Court meeting.
Second.
All right, motion made by me, second by Commissioner White. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? All right, item number 5, discuss and approve paying out comp time for Brittany Luna. Yeah.
Sir. So, Commissioner Powell brought up before, and it's a good idea generally to try to pay down on time if we're able to. And so I've never paid out any of mine, but Brittany has 46.16 hours of comp time, which comes out to $784.72. And that's accumulated since her maternity leave almost 5 years ago. So just a little bit here and there when we stayed late for trial or, different things. And so I'm asking to pay that down. When I put it on the agenda, I originally thought that I had money in my general fund payroll because we always budget extra for the assistant VA position in case we don't get the VAWA grant. But last year when we were doing budget cuts, it turns out we did cut down the budget to what was actually needed and not extra. So I'm glad we got the VAWA grant last year. But anyway, so I talked to Sherry about it, and
Yes, and I have $13,000 over and that I'm gonna have left over at the end of the year in my salaries. So I'm going to do a budget amendment out of my clerical line item and to the DA's. It's all out of the general fund, so there's nothing wrong, but I want to get the court's approval to pay Brittany. But I'll move it from my line item to Courtney's line item to pay Brittany her comp time.
40 hours in 5 years, you're working on too hard.
well, it's probably actually a lot more than that, I guess, but we've got on paper.
Yeah.
It's 46.1
Yeah, I've-
hours. And
I've seen y'all.
$784.72.
You can't afford to just let her off.
Well, if we have the money to pay it and she's got that much comp time, I say we pay it off. But her new time will start in January and she already has so much vacation that she hasn't even taken that with her. And so,
Well, in my opinion, if they got comp time and we have the money, be a good little Christmas addition.
this is kind of following Commissioner Powell's lead where they have comp time
Yes.
and we have the money to pay them.
Well,
Well, I'll say it again, if we have employees that we can afford to let off for an excessive amount of comp time, we really should challenge, do we even need them? So if you're saying you need her, she's got her vacation and what have you, you need to pay her, in my opinion, you need to pay her comp time and let her take her
I
vacation.
can't imagine her taking all this time for, a week plus. That's over a week of time plus needing to get down her vacation time.
Yeah. So your office, like for me, I had 3 full-time employees excluding an admin and one part-time. And I can't get the work I need done in a week. So, I think it's up to every office, every department head and elected official. If they say, hey, I need to pay these people, the voters entrusted you to manage your department. But I do have a question, because I hear it often. How much does the county contribute to your office in a year for payroll? Approximately? Nah, come on, we can do better than that. We can come up with something today, right here.
The attorneys or?
Everything.
There's so many supplements.
Yeah.
About 160,000.
Yeah, I'm thinking,
So the taxpayers are paying approximately 100, let's just say 150, give or take. But that's pretty close for 6 people.
it's below hundred and seventy-five, I know.
Okay. I think that's just good. I just wanted to put it out there for all those attorneys and all those people over there. We're paying about $150,000 worth of taxpayer money.
Taxpayer dollars. Everything else comes out of supplements and SB 22.
Right.
Yes.
Because when you look at it, if you're just the average taxpayer, you go, man, we're spending a tremendous amount of money on that DA's office and all those people over there. But the fact of the matter is, we've got 3 attorneys, an investigator, and 2 assistants, and we're paying $150,000 a year. Not a lot of money for the services we've been provided. I make the motion that we approve paying out the comp time as requested by our district attorney.
But you're absolutely right. I can't have her just take off all of that and any vacation time. She can't be missing. But it's also not fair to the department to have somebody stay until 8 o'clock at night because we're waiting on a jury and not compensate them for
That's exactly right.
I would say it's not only unfair, I think it's illegal.
It is illegal.
If you work somebody, you need to pay them.
And even, and they would gladly do it. Any of my people would gladly do that for me, but that's not cool.
I have the same thing, guys saying, hey, I'll hold over, don't worry about it, ain't worth, but we can't. I mean, we can't just say, well, you can give the county if I can't take a donation from Venture Global Pipeline without getting it approved here, I can't take a donation from one of my employees that says, hey, I'll give you 3 hours, don't worry about it. It's not legal. I'll come out and cut that tree up, not charge you comp time, don't worry about it. I appreciate their dedication, but it's not right. It's not legal. A year from now, I'd be in front of the courtroom going, well, did you work these people and not compensate them? Well, yeah, but they said it was okay. No, that's not how it works. Anyways, I'll stand by my motion made.
I second the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Powell, second by Commissioner White. All in favor? All against? All right, item number 6, enter into executive session to allow under 551-071 to consult with counsel regarding County of Newton versus Endo Health Solutions Incorporated. It's MDL pretrial clause number 2018-63587 in the 152nd District Court of Harris County, Texas. All right, and that's Courtney. Y'all want to wait until the end or you want to do it now?
So you would wait till then. That's regarding the opioid litigation.
Yeah.
I have special counsel here, Paul Henderson, and so he's gonna discuss in executive session, and then the next item would be voting on a settlement with a different defendant.
I do have a recommendation. We run into this often, and maybe in the future, if we could just on the agenda,
What about the end?
put them at the end so we don't have to.
I think the way the agenda, is the way the items
When
come
they come
in.
in, yeah,
They're
added when they come in.
yes.
Yeah.
So,
We'll skip 6 and 7.
yeah, we'll skip 6 and 7 toward the end. That way, nobody has to wait on them. All right, item number 8, discuss and consider selling mechanics truck. The process for selling the truck should be discussed and selected based on the highest return of the taxpayers or to the taxpayers' road and bridge account, with legal counsel oversight.
So what that is, and I requested that to be put on there. I was in need of tools, had no tools. Commissioner Formby, we tried to sell the truck. We couldn't get a decent price on it. He said, hey, I'll take the truck and use it. And one day we was talking about tools. I said, man, I'm going to have to spend a couple of $1,000s to get tools. I just don't have any. And he said, won't you come get this truck? It's full of tools, ain't never been opened. So we went and got the truck, took it to Deweyville. And basically, we took all the tools out of it. I bought a big toolbox. We unloaded all the tools. populated our entire maintenance shop with tools. And, it saved me probably $4,000, maybe even more. I wouldn't have bought all of them, but I probably got $6,000 worth of tools out of that truck. But the truck is just sitting there. It's a big asset. One of the gentlemen that was here on a Saturday when we talked about budgeting made the comment, why don't you sell that truck? And that's haunted me ever since he said that, because I know we tried to sell it. It's just depreciating. And where the money goes, I don't know. That's, whomever that, I said, I wrote that up as Road and Bridge General, wherever it goes, I don't care. I just feel like for the taxpayers, we need to sell the truck even if it's at a loss. I mean, if we're not going to use it, it's going down every year. It's sitting there, we got to go move it around. I make them move it around just for the sake of running it, but unless somebody's got use for it.
Well, I just got a question. I thought we all split them tools 4 ways when we done that truck.
The tools?
Mhm.
If you did, I'll pay you for them.
Now, for everything on that truck, we had to split it 4 ways, right?
Well, no, when you bought
No.
the truck, the tools, it all come out of Road and Bridge General, which is out of basically all 4 of you, that's your money. But now the tools didn't, but the truck come out of, was replaced by debt service money. So if you go back to the debt services, the way they get the debt service money on vehicles is they take that money directly off your tax dollars at the top before they divide your general fund and road and bridge. Okay? So that right there is gonna have to be a question that we're gonna have to ask on that.
We discussed it some this morning and we realized we didn't have enough time to figure it out. And
Yeah,
obviously
so,
you in the conversation too.
Yeah.
So we did talk about it, but
Now, the tools were bought strictly out of Road and Bridge General, which is all 4 of the commissioners.
Yeah, I was thinking that the
But debt services.
debris truck and the mechanics truck.
They take that money straight off the top before they distribute the tax monies. Are you with me?
Yes,
Okay, just making sure.
but
everybody's looking
the
at
tools came out Road and
Yes,
Bridge.
Road and Bridge, yes. So it come out of the 020 Road and Bridge General.
But then the money that come out of road and bridge was replaced by debt services.
The truck,
Yes.
yes.
That and the debris truck.
Right, so like we had $800,000 worth of debt service money, they would take that on your tax roll, they take it completely off. Then they take and divide out your 85% for road and bridge, for your general fund and 15% for road and bridge. So, like when we did that, it might have been under 020 and we just replaced the debt service money. So that's gonna be one of those, figure out where you put the money.
Yeah, so if precinct 4 owes the other precincts money for the tools, we can go back and figure out or look back and see what that expenditure was and we can make that right. That's what you choose. That's what you want to do.
No, I'm just asked a question.
Yeah, I mean, good question. Not, I'm not, I'm not avoiding it, or I wouldn't have brought up the tools that we took off the truck, but, if we hadn't have taken them, they'd still be sitting there on the truck, packaged up. But I think, back to the original point, I think we need to sell the truck. We work tools out later, but I think, and I,
Time we had, Greg Ellis, he almost had it sold for us, but then everybody backed out on us.
and that's why I put that on there, because I remember that discussion. I don't think I was on the court, maybe I was, but I think your assistant's husband had the truck sold, and then we said, oh, no, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna go through this process. Whatever, to me, whatever brings the biggest return to the taxpayers is what we need to do.
Yeah, I say we definitely sell that truck.
Method, I think is mentioned on here too, what method? Didn't we have that on auctioneer or we never did? We put it on open market.
Yeah,
We
we,
just had it outright sold, and that's how they were gonna do it. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think it ever went on.
I think we talked last year about whether putting it on Purple Wave,
Yeah.
but they had a no reserve auction. Their Purple Wave was no reserve, so
Right.
we didn't feel comfortable with their appraisal of the truck and what we thought it was worth.
So we're gonna let our attorneys do this, is that what this thing saying? Legal counsel, that's my legal.
Well, the legal counsel, that's what I was looking for is how can we sell the truck and get the biggest return? Yeah, that's it.
I don't remember, I think that when Mr. Gregg was gonna sell it, part of the holdup was that it didn't follow right, the policy.
We can list it in the paper. We can list it for so long and try to get bids that way instead of put it on an auction.
And he just was, he had a buyer,
He just had a buyer.
and so then we
And
talked
so
about
that
that
was-
Express,
Isn't that
and
right, Dr. Dean?
we could just get a contract with them.
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
I think that's why I didn't.
Did
sell
we
it.
advertise it on the city that build over?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
yes, it was advertised, Bill Douglas.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
We're asking too much at that time.
I think so, yeah. I think it was almost sold over there too, but
Yeah.
it was too much.
Yeah, I'm like Commissioner Powell is depreciating every year.
I think most businesses use those kind of trucks with a lift boom on it, and this one did not have a lift boom. That was the
Hold up.
responsibility.
Well, it didn't have the outriggers for the lift boom. It's got a lift boom.
Right.
That it didn't have the outriggers, so you couldn't use the out.
Bucket, what
Oh, you're talking about buckets, I'm sorry.
bucket
Yeah,
truck.
it's got a winch system.
Yeah.
But what I've heard the discussion about is that the winch system couldn't be used because of no outriggers. It's, I mean, it depends on what you're picking up. I mean, arguably, you can use it. If you were working on something on the side of the road, you could arguably use it to lift the motor without outriggers, but I mean, there is a concern with dumping a truck
Yeah.
over, so. I guess what I would like to do is just make the motion that we agree to sell the truck, allowing the auditors and attorney's office to manage the sale of the truck. Allowing or requesting, whatever. My grandmother used to say, I'm gonna let you mow my grass, so I just say, we'll let the auditor attorneys.
But we say, I think that would be good. What we would probably do is figure out the best way, and if it is, let's say, for example, Auctioneer Express, that would come back to court anyway, because there would be a contract.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
And so that way we keep the court up to date on the method that we decide.
And I think that we discussed Purple Wave last year, but they had a no reserve. So, and the court wasn't comfortable with the no reserve.
So they can go and conquer the details and bring it back to us and we'll say, so you got my motion? You got it worded right? Are you taking a minute? Who's taking a minute? Oh, you are. I'm sorry. So do you have it? You want me to re-say it? Okay.
And she was blocked.
No, I was vigorously writing.
Oh, so we have a motion, need a second.
Second.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Powell, second by Commissioner Benson, all in favor? All against? All right. Item number 9, discuss and consider utilizing funds from the Road and Bridge General Accounts to pay for the creation and funding of a purchase order asset tracking agent for Newton County. The discussion could include, but not limited to, job duties, supervisor, and overall objective. And Commissioner Powell?
Yeah, this is something we've talked about, I think, for 2 years now. And I go back to that Saturday discussion, there was a lot of discussion about, well, why don't you guys contribute? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And I approached our assistant county attorney and just said, if I chose to use a portion of the road and bridge general funds that are allocated to my department, could I put that toward a purchasing agent person because they do work for my department? In other words, I wouldn't be paying them their full salary, but I would be getting as much value out of them as what I'm spending my portion of the tax dollars wisely, saying, hey, make sure all of our money is spent right. We get a PO in, and I got the support to do that. I got a thumbs up. So I just wanted to put it in front of the court and judge that where I'm at is I feel comfortable allocating up to $14,000 a year for the support of a person to manage purchase order systems and assets. And I'm gonna go ahead and build the case for this because I know this, because as a commissioner, we're the only ones in the county, in my opinion, that have control of their budget. You know, not a dollar is spent out of my precinct that I don't approve. And we track that real time on an Excel spreadsheet. That spreadsheet never corresponds with net data. And it never will, because the auditor's office is always at least a month behind because of the way the system is designed. The requisitions, we buy something, or we say, deliver that 200 tons of rock. They send us an invoice. We fill out a requisition. And at least 2 weeks later, we get it approved in bill pay. And then the auditor goes in and do it. And I said a month. There's always a lag, is what I should say. But if, let's just say we don't get that requisition in that bill pay, it misses it. What heck? It can be a month. It can be 6 weeks. We're having that today. We're going to face that when we get to bill pay because of the work done on the K building. That work was done back midsummer, and we were looking at a $27,000 expense for taxpayers that has been out there since midsummer that nobody knew about because there was not a PO system in place. It is a gatekeeper. It is a safeguard for taxpayers' dollars. And I'm not going to say anything else because I've already said all of this multiple times. I'm willing to contribute $14,000 a year to this position with the understanding that the roles and responsibilities are more than just issuing POs numbers. They're asset tracking. So we know exactly how many buildings we have in the county and whether they're insured or not insured, how many vehicles we have. Are they up to date on their inspection stickers? Are they insured? All of these things this person would do. And then the auditor's office would certainly be involved in creating how the PO system works along with the treasurer's office to make sure that anytime a vendor does work in Newton County or supplies materials and goods to Newton County, before that transaction, before that vendor does any work, before any of that material is delivered, that someone sitting in front of a computer looks at a fund and says, Commissioner Powell, what fund do you want that money to come out of? 034 account road materials. Well, you don't have enough money in that account. You got $10 in it. This is $11. Okay, well, you work through it. You got $22 in this account. Okay, I'm flagging that. We're pulling out of this account. Here's your PO number. You still have $22 in the account, but only whatever is available. So it's a great, we can do it.
My argument on this, I've got a PO.
No, you don't.
I know exactly how much money I spend.
Exactly right. I agree with that.
Don't have to agree with net data because this is my responsibility. The JP got the same thing I've got. When they buy stamps, they take it out there. So I'm thinking everybody's already, if they get past their budget, then it's on them. I mean, the only problem I see is in general fund.
Brother, we've had this. I'm not going to argue.
I know it.
If you don't want a PO system, that's your,
I've got one.
no, you don't. So just for clarity, you have a system where you manage the money that is provided to you,
That's right.
but no one in the county has a purchase order system. We cannot tell people watching this video, we have a PO system. You have a very robust system where you track every dollar you spend.
I know.
I have the same thing. I'm sure Commissioner White does, and I'm sure Commissioner Palmy does. But none of us have a PO system.
I'm gonna get you mad, but that's a campaign promise that you all made. And it's been working for me, worked for Bill Fuller, worked for Pee Wee Wilkerson, been working all these years.
Okay, well, let's talk about that just a little bit. First of all, the only two campaign promises I made, because I was elected in March in the primary, before the PO system ever come up, is outside of what we're talking about. But if you say the system works so well, why did you go to the DA yesterday and complain about money being spent on Cade building back in the middle of the summer and just now coming?
I asked her what that.
Why did you go? I'm trying to make a point. It's not working. If it was working, we wouldn't be where we're at on the K building today. And you know that.
If the system, PO system wasn't the answer, it's just like clearing that 50 acres, I mean, that 5 acres, spending 50,000. If people go by protocol that this court's supposed to go by, everybody will know what's going on. But people doing things, clearing land, not bidding it out, doing cave building without bidding
On the
it out.
50 acres, there was 3 bids. Littlefield Dozer Service Smith Equipment and
Didn't you tell me you gotta have a sealed bid in anything past 50,000?
It's right here. Well,
well, the actual bid come in at,
yes, up to 50,000.
the low bid was $48,000. All right, when they cleared the 5 acres, the owner of the land come back, or the one that donated land said,
You get a change order on it.
part of the agreement was that when we donated this land, you have to make us an access route to our property. So
That was another 10, right?
that was another 8.
Another, so,
But the property had already been cleared by the time we did the change. And so
But to
it
your
was
point,
$8,000 added to, well, it was $8,000 add-on.
but to your point, you're exactly right. Because what should have happened, if we'd had a PO system, this is what would have happened. When that contractor said, hey, I bid this, they want me to clean that too, to clear that too. I would have said, well, you know, the policy of the county is if you don't have a PO number and you do work, you may not get paid for it. And he'd have shut it down and said, I ain't doing nothing without PO system.
Yeah.
That, if we had that global message out there for Toyac, East Texas Materials, all these places, Johnson Controls, whatever it may be, they wouldn't undo anything without a PO number.
but
The original put out for bid was 5 acres. All 3 contractors looked at the 5 acres. Littlefield was 50-something, Smith, Clinton Lane, whatever, Smith, but they were 50-some thousand. And then Bob Covington come in at 48,000. So we gave it to Bob Covington. So it was
well,
$6,000 or $7,000 cheap.
I know they was gonna stare at the hornet nest up there, but to me, myself, I think the county could clear that land. We got track holes, we got dozers, we got backhoes. That's just me.
And that comment is completely outside of having a PO system. That's more of a management issue, but it goes back to you're challenging the way the money was handled. You're building the case for the PO system yourself.
Well, my system works. If everybody would have their own system like that, it'll work.
You're right. If everyone had a perfect system, it would work. And what I'm saying is make one system that everyone uses. So we don't have to rely on it.
We ain't go and get you mad again. I mean,
I'm not mad. I appreciate you telling everybody out in the public that you're getting me mad, but you're not. We're having a good discussion.
I'm just gonna have another discussion.
Okay.
I sit on here one Saturday morning, I've been raked over the coals about people saying lay off, cut the fat, cut the fat, cut the fat, cut the fat, cut the fat.
That was me, right?
Right, and now you saying hire, hire, hire.
And at that same Saturday morning or the meetings before, I sat in the same building and said, move one of them people into a PO person position because that's a critical role. I stand by that now. We need to trim the fat in Newton County, but we need key people in key roles more than we need anything else. We are sitting here today when we get ready to do bill pay. We're approving money that was spent 6 months ago. We wouldn't be in that dilemma if we had a PO system. And I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
I'm glad, I'm not mad.
I got a question. Mark, how long did it take them to clear that land?
About 2 weeks.
Okay. All right. What's your biggest complaint you get from the public? The roads. All right. Did you have somebody you could, put down there for 2 weeks?
Well, we probably would. I mean, I took off the whole week and hauled material for precinct 1, 2, and 3. Now, we supposed to be workers together. We're supposed to be,
We're getting sidetracked on that.
Yeah.
It's being- And I guess it just goes back to this. There is a group of people that we work for that have less than full confidence in money management within Newton County. I think it's a small price to pay to build confidence in the general public, but more importantly, that the chief financial officer, which is the county judge,
Yes, he is.
can have the same system you got, because right now he can't. No one in that position can, because they don't have what you have, and that's total control of all the funds in your budget. That's the thing that everybody's missing. If that chief financial officer had to release every dollar spent, then we wouldn't be having this discussion, but everybody's dipping into that general fund besides us. But if you don't want a PO system, I'm not gonna convince you that we need one, so.
Well, I mean, just like on this bill pay.
Okay.
I mean, listen, we got a contingency fund, which is paying a auditor out of it.
Should be a contingency fund.
Well, that's what it said,
Should be a special audit fund.
contingency fund. The barber, Scally or
Should be,
something.
that's for a CPI, yes. It should be.
So your point is,
What my point is, I mean, I thought that was money put back
Yeah, it should
contingency
be,
fund.
that must be this total, because that should be for, there's a special audit.
Oh, Lord, he's going to beat me up.
Yeah, I must have put it in the wrong.
Yeah.
damn, I'm eating up days, long gone, bro.
Special audit fund.
Okay, I mean,
That's where it's coming from, it's not from contingency.
I mean, after we had that big debate, that Saturday, I'm going through this, I'm looking, I'm nitpicking.
You got something? Yeah.
Real quick, you mentioned, that we came yesterday and asked, can you clarify that I didn't tell you that? Because I don't want it to seem like it's.
Oh, he told me
I
that.
told him that.
Oh, he told me
I
that.
just don't want it to seem anybody here that you come to me that I'm telling everybody else.
No. He came to my office and I told him, I said, I asked about.
Well, you do tell everything you know. No, I'm joking.
I just want to-
That's a joke.
That's how it appeared.
No,
That's how it appeared to some people that.
no,
they didn't see it,
Commissioner
that
Benson,
didn't happen.
let me just clear this up. Our DA has the highest level of confidentiality. I trust her when our conversations are held. I'm sure everyone else does and can. Commissioner Benson told me that he spoke with you yesterday.
But I wanted to clarify.
All right, yeah, we need to move on.
All right.
It's just like me preaching. I don't prevent some sinners and some sinners I do.
Well, I got one request. And I'm gonna ask you. Quit implying that I'm mad.
All right,
I don't think it's
you
fair.
just turned red.
Okay.
I'm just going by your expression. I'm sorry. I
Oh, you're
apologize.
judging my character by my facial expression.
Yeah, because most of the time
I
you're
don't,
stale.
I might want to think about that a little bit, but let's move on.
He said if you.
He said you don't have a poker face. No. All right.
One final,
What a joke.
one final note in response to what, Commissioner Powell was saying about the folk that we work for, which is referring to the general public. I'll happen to be sitting here the day that he referred to where folk are concerned because every year at budget time for the last several years, we've been struggling with trying to manage our funds. We all know that it's a nip and tuck and it's we don't have excess money and we have to manage dearly everything that we discuss. But there was a lot of unforeseen issues came up with air conditions and whatnot, with general funds and that was, something we out of our control. But I do feel like that when those folk left this building, this room, that they felt like that we were gonna, make a difference from that day until next year at this time, in 25. So it's up on us, and we've got to not lose focus on that. It's up on us to present something that we've done different to show that we tried to not end up in the same position.
It's gonna be on number 11.
My suggestion is that we have some workshops talking about all of these buildings where we feel like falling down, that should we have a plan to get out of them this year, next year, whenever. We got to put together some kind of promising plan, in my opinion. We know things don't happen overnight, but we've got to put some effort, sit down, all of us together. We obviously got different opinions. We need to come to a consensus of which direction we need to go. County, funds and management for its buildings and whatnot. I thought that was a great exercise on the copiers. Glad to hear that we are actually managing the copy situation, because that's a great expense that sounds small, but in the year's time, we spent a lot of money on copiers. And we should look at everything else, where all our money's went for the last 2 years, and try and focus on those things that we do have control over. And then, if we need to it might show that we need a PO system, but we need to get together and discuss all the things that are facing us, and we need to have something promising. That's going to more than just say we got a PO system. I think it's going to take a little more than that, from what all I heard.
So to that, you mentioned in the past things, Ms. Moore, how many times have you been asked as a county auditor how much money we're going to have at the end of the year? Every year?
That I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your reply to that is,
I don't know,
why do you not know?
because the fact I don't have the bills are, we may get bills in from 4 months ago.
That's, so what you just said is the next line item on having a meeting at the first of the year. So after the first year, when we have this meeting, Ms. Moore is still going to be sitting there telling us, I don't know how much money we're going to roll over.
So I don't know what you're hanging on to in your office that's not been sent to my office to be paid.
Exactly. And you don't know how much is out there with a vendor. And let me give you an example. If I order rock on December the 21st, that invoice won't make a bill pay until January. But if we had a PO system and I ordered rock on December the 31st, the fund balance would be marked and you would have real-time numbers. If the judge spent $100,000 on December the 31st, the PO number would flag the general fund and you would know exactly how much money we have available.
Be committed cost.
Yeah.
Committee cost.
We just haven't received it to pay it.
So you would have the exact amount of rollover
Yes.
if we had a PO
I
system.
cannot tell you, because I don't know who.
And I have, even before I got on court, I listened to the previous administration struggle with, we need to know how much money we're going to roll over. We need to know how much money we're going to roll over. We need to know these things and what have you. You couldn't give an approximate. No one will ever be able to if we don't have a system that tracks expenses on a real-time data point. No business in the industry runs without a purchase order system. We have a $9 million a year business, and we don't have a purchase order system.
And this is something that has not been just recently talked about. Even when Kenneth Weeks was judge, he promoted that. He even had Net Data come down and give a demonstration. I think everybody was there. All the office department heads were there.
We have a PO system on that.
Talked about for years, since I've been here, the last 40 years. It hasn't been talked about, it just never went over.
And it don't sound like we are today.
We do have a system on that data, PO system. And
Yeah, they came down to the demonstration.
it originally started, it just kind of, nobody did it since.
Well, I heard, Judge, I talked to one of your assistants in 2023 and she showed me a book and she said, I have a PO system. I said, well, how does it work? She said, well, when I want to purchase something, I just look in this book and get a PO number. And I was flabbergasted. I said, so how are your funds flagged that you got that PO number? What do you mean? And I said, well, she said, well, I got my PO number. I said, but the system that tracks your money, how's that amount flagged in the system to where it's allocated? There was a gap of communication, understanding, whatever it may be. But I just go back to a purchase order system is a gatekeeper on funds. It's not just a tracking system. I feel very confident in Precinct 4. We know exactly to the penny how much money we've spent how much money we have. We look at it weekly. But it's not a purchase order system. I called yesterday, or I asked Tasha to call and get us 2 loads of base material. We haven't gotten that invoice. We'll get that probably tomorrow, whenever. Then we'll turn that in on next bill pay. If we had a PO system before we ordered that, she'd have called and said, hey, I need to get two loads of base. Give me the price on that. Then she'd call the purchase. I'm just describing something that it may be different, but she'd call the purchasing agent person saying, hey, I've just called, I'm requesting this. Can you give me a PO number, take it out of the road materials account? They say, yeah, you have it in there. We're flagging that account. Here's your PO number. That account is now up to date to the second. She calls back, gives the vendor the PO number. They ship the product. They don't ship it before they get the PO number. It's just an example of how it works. It may not work exactly that way. That's an example of the way it could work, but.
You know, we had a financial system, refinery I worked in, SAP. And
Yeah,
everybody
is the bomb.
everybody that wrote the work order system, you know, I had to be careful on what I approved, because once I approved that work order, the money was spent. So, you know, and it was real time, you know, once, you know, the money was already taken out. So, you know, real time data is what we need. You know, up to date, what our funds are, you know, what's spent, what's taken out, and what's on hold. So,
How much money you think we're gonna roll over this year, Ms. Moore? Just a guess. I mean, a plus or minus 300,000. They'll give you a lot of slack.
Plus,
No, I'm just saying.
no good answer.
not even there, not even under 300,000.
Okay, so you're saying minimum 300,000.
But we, like I said, we still got some stuff going out there with TDM that we're still, I mean,
So you're forecasting, but without a PO system, I mean, anyway. I'm done.
yeah, this needs to be paid until
They don't.
workshop.
No, I don't agree with that. I appreciate your comments, but it don't need to be tabled at all. I'm asking the court today to develop and pay for a PO system. If the court decides not to do it, that's on the court, but it doesn't need to be tabled. It needs to be voted on. I done made the motion. Okay. Maybe I didn't.
So-
Maybe I'm so passionate I didn't. Maybe I'm so mad I didn't. I'm gonna make the motion that we develop a purchase order system and employ a person to manage that system and asset tracking for Newton County government.
Okay, so second part of that is paying for this salary.
With the cost being shared equally amongst the commissioners.
Now, I don't feel like I have a say in that, because it's the commissioners, it's coming out of the commissioner's account, Hey, I agree to it because it's not coming out of my budget, but, and it wouldn't be fair to everybody else, the way I see it.
Well, let me ask you this, Judge. So you are involved in it. Why don't we just say this? Whatever that cost is, we split it 5 ways. You pay a portion of it.
I agree with that.
So I would amend my motion to say that that position would be paid for from each road and bridge general fund and a portion from the general fund, equally shared.
All right. You made the motion. I'll second that. All right. Motion made by Commissioner Powell, second by me. All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
I'm against voting on it today because this is happened. I've had I got funds that I'm, relying on to put toward this, and so I've got to look at all my funds to make sure that I can go with my projects.
No, this time.
I don't know.
So if you don't vote, it passes.
Right.
Vote no.
Well, I said no.
Oh, you vote, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I thought you wasn't voting on it.
Well, before we move on, I want the court to know, I'm not mad at all. My face changes colors. I'm passionate. I'm passionate about my work. I'm passionate about my life, my family, my beliefs. And if my color changes with that, that's something I can't control, but I'm not mad.
All right.
I'm not mad either. You want some sugar? You look mad.
And my comment is that I'm not against the PO system. I think that it will be beneficial. But, I need to look at my funds and see before I dedicate that much.
All right. So we'll move to item number 10, is discuss and consider taking action to purchase and erect a radio tower for the southern end of Newton County. This line item is currently being pursued by the judge's office. This requested line agenda item is to help support and emphasize the urgent need as precinct commissioner. All right. What we have is the south radio tower in Newton County. It's being demoed. It belongs to Sabine River Authority. Newton County has been used, had an antenna on it. The radio tower is, yes, condemned. That's what I was looking for. Radio tower is condemned. No one can climb it. The antennas are hanging off of it from Hurricane Laura, I believe. So when the SRA license runs out in January, they're going to demo it, discontinue. So Newton County has to build a radio tower to ensure communications for sheriff department and fire departments, everybody in the south end of the county. You know, so basically right now, a lot of the times sheriff departments are relying on cell phone communication, which is not good. So as a safety issue, you know, I think the county needs to bite the bullet and build this tower. Now I have Texas Premier Communications have went through, we have a bid here for the equipment, radio tower. And that's the radio company that the sheriff department currently uses. And to erect the tower and all the antennas and equipment is $540,470.33. Now, my plan was to go with the Department of Agriculture's facilities service loan. But to do that, we would have to have certificates of obligation or a bond issue. So
let me ask you, can we approach this in two different ways? I mean, the auditors already said we're going to have no less than $300,000. And if she's saying that, you can double it because she's so conservative by nature. She's not going to say 300 unless we got 6. That's my opinion. But if we've got 300, surely we can come up with 200,000 more. So I'm going to make the motion outside of how we pay for it, that we make a decision here today. I'm going to make a motion that says we begin construction using Texas Premier Communications LLC per the provided bid and quote at once.
now,
So this wasn't budgeted in 2025, so how are y'all planning on,
We'll do a budget amendment.
we budgeted $100,000.
does it fall under a budget?
Yes.
Now, I did budget-
Before we just did that, I wanted to make sure that it was.
I did budget $100,000 for, you know, basically a payment, a note in 2025 for the radio tower. And working with Sabine River Authority at the site of the previous tower or the tower that's already there, they're giving us a land use agreement for as long as we have the tower there. And it's on IP Road.
Is that in Orange County?
Yes.
How can we put a tower up and pay for it with Newton County funds in another county? Legally,
So it's
there's no other land that we can put it on in Newton County?
floodland. And you'd have to build everything up to keep it from flooding.
So I guess is there any reason that we can't put Newton assets on another county property if we have a lease?
So,
Okay, that's answered.
Can I just interject something here?
check.
I mean, I'm just gonna go back through, I talked to these people back in January. They said the best spot to put this was the pocket,
Well, pocket,
the pocket. All right, because they said you cover more of Newton County in the pocket. You put it in Orange, you're gonna have to add to it, and you're gonna be doing more of Orange County than you are Newton County. That's what they told me.
we had, so,
We had that discussion, but
Well,
then,
they did their computer simulations of the radio, and Mark can help me out here on this. With the radio tower, where it's at now, we do have to go up 30 extra feet. But with the repeaters bouncing off the Bleakwood Tower, the water tower here in Newton, and the Mayflower Tower, they do ensure full county coverage.
And it's gonna be also covered east area, which we're liable for, because that's Newton County property. So, looking at all the land sites and then talking with the people that you had, make in touch with, it was gonna cost the county to even have the tower on that property in the pocket for as long as we had the tower there. So that's why, like the judge was saying, they did the study, it would be 30 feet taller, which is around 300 feet, 250 feet.
Yes.
And then SRA gave us the authority that we could put it there. And we
well, I'm all for it. I've been
can
on,
actually start building the foundation.
Well, yes.
While they're tearing their tower.
As far as the site there, the paper mill is no longer in operation, and it will not be. So we don't have to worry about the corrosion from the lime kiln and the digesters.
Right.
So that's the issue that's, with IP shutting down, resolve the corrosion issues. So,
So it's on the SRA property.
Yes.
Do we have a kind of like a lease agreement with them or?
they're working on it right now. Multi, land use agreement for that time. And then the site there, it already has the utilities, it already has the infrastructure.
Yes.
So it saves a little money putting it there. We don't have to run electricity. We may even have a backup generator already on site that they will leave.
by no way am I trying to delay this, because this should have been done 4 years ago.
You know, 5 minutes to save a line,
Amen.
one line. before-
Amen.
I agree.
You gonna second it?
Yeah.
You second.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner Powell, second by Commissioner Benson. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Right. All right, item number 11, discuss and consider scheduling a workshop to discuss year-end closing and first quarter activities in 2025. This meeting should include an up-to-date fund balance as much as possible and the projected fund balance carryover into 2025, again, as best can be projected. The meeting will be much like a department managers and elected officials meeting in which attendees could discuss hurdles and challenges along with opportunities.
So this is nothing more than what Commissioner Benson had asked for earlier in 24. And I think we just all get busy and it's just the world consumes us, And so Judge, I just wanted to put it back in front of you right here in December, if asking you as the leader of the county, if you would commit to go ahead and schedule those meetings. And not just schedule the meetings, but go ahead and schedule them throughout 2025 on some frequency, whether it be quarterly, monthly, whatever you can support as a county judge, because I know your office is busier than our offices, but whatever you could support, I'd ask today that you go ahead and let's get those on the calendar and get them scheduled. I mean, we got calendars here. Let's go ahead and let's nail some dates down today rather than just say, hey, we're going to do it. Let's go ahead and you pick the dates and
I'm good with quarterly. Y'all pick the dates that works for you.
let's pick them right now. Let's get them on because I think that's the only way we're going to get there. If we pick dates and put them on the calendar, We
We
done.
got to do something, cause come September, we're gonna have a budget. We better have things worked out. For September, in my opinion. That department head would be a good place to start.
And look, nobody's got time for it, but nobody can make time for it, but everybody has to make time for it.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
So you wanna start the first one in March or January?
January,
So you wanna do January 14th, we'll do it the afternoon after Commissioners Court?
We don't have to yellow meeting. do
We
we?
have to, we have grants that morning, we're doing in the morning now.
So you do like beginning of February so that you have the.
Year-end balance.
yeah, that's probably a good idea.
That's why she said March, because that's the end of the quarter. They give her.
The only thing about it, just think of it this way. September is not far from February. Every day you delay, you're falling behind. I mean, quite honestly, we should have the first week of January. And if we need to have another one in February, I mean, we could leave that quarterly meeting and have a subset. In other words, we could meet, in January and the auditors say, hey, I don't have what we need. Judge, could we meet again in 2 weeks? And the judge could say, yeah, we can do that. That wouldn't interfere with the next meeting set in the quarter of March. We could just, piggyback.
Meeting after court every
Month,
month.
monthly may be extreme.
Yeah, I'd say quarterly too much.
So do it quarterly after every commissioner, just go on into workshop.
Quarterly after every regular commissioner's court? Is that what you want to do, Judge?
Yes.
Can you get us those dates in the minutes?
Yeah, we're working on that.
Okay.
So January
Let's go ahead.
14th,
April,
Eight.
April 8th.
8th, July 8th,
July.
October.
October.
14th.
Okay.
So January.
January 14th, April 8th,
So you want to say that last week?
Commissioner Benson, you want to make that motion since it was your ideal a year ago?
No, go ahead, you put it on, I was second it.
Well, she's got the dates you're closer to, if you can read them off.
Okay, I make the motion, we start having department head meeting on January 14th of 2025, April the 8th, July the 8th, October the 14th, December the 9th, after Commissioner Court.
Regular commission court. Regular.
Regular.
I second the motion.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Benson, second by Commissioner White. All in favor? All against? All right, item number 12. Discuss and consider establishing the responsibility of waste site grounds maintenance as well as sub-courthouse buildings grounds maintenance to the commissioners of the precinct in which the waste site and buildings are located. 1-1.
So this is really more for me. I mean, I think we should do it for the entire county because when you read that government code there, it really, I was of the understanding that the commissioner had control of the buildings and what have you within their precinct and, all that. But when you get to reading this, Commissioner's Court controls everything within the county. It's not up to me or it's the court. We decide as a court what goes on in precinct 4. And when you read this, first thing I thought about is before I moved my office from the annex building to the county barn, I should have come to the court and said, hey, I want to relocate my office to the county barn. That would have been the right thing to do. I didn't know that then, but I do now. So what I'm asking is, where we're at in Deweyville is the groundskeeping crew from Newton feverishly works to keep that up. They borrow our lawnmower, they do a lot, and they work, they're stretched thin. Prentice knows this. He was one of the guys that was doing it down there. So what I'm asking for, at least for precinct 4, is that today it is decided that the precinct 4 commissioner will upkeep the annex building and the waste side. Now, I'm not asking for maintenance duties on the compactor or anything else. I'm talking about the site grounds. I'll keep the areas mowed, the entrances maintained, the fences up, the gates maintained. I'll keep the courthouse mowed and what have you. But I'm asking that no longer be a shared responsibility, because what we're doing is getting on top of each other, and it's neglected sometimes, because I think Rusty's going to do it. He thinks I'm going to do it. So if we do it this way, it's all on me. If it's done or not done, it's all on me. So that's kind of where I'm at today on that. But
and sometimes, like they have a compactor down. Rusty's working on the compactor. He don't have time to,
absolutely, it's I'll just say this, it's not a slight against Rusty. That dude he is a hard working, he's all over the place, but I see this as a way we're 44 miles from the county seat. We're there every day. I see it's something that we can do and benefit your office in the county.
I thought you should have done that when I was in there.
Well, so this commissioner, so since Commissioner-elect brings that up, I will say that when I took office, we did have another person that worked with us on Mondays and Tuesdays for that purpose. That you done away with. So I had to throw that in there, but I just.
I'm trying to save money.
You did. No, but I think we can do it with what we got. And if we fall behind, it'll be on me. But the way I'm staffed this year, I have temporary help in the summer come in for the mowing season. I think it'll be a good fit for us. But hey, we probably ought to look at the other sites and talk about it. Because when you think about Rusty, I don't know if everybody understands, and I shouldn't use names, but when you think about your maintenance person, they're busy.
And I feel like each commissioner should mow and clean their own compactor. Precinct 3's got 3 of them. All those commissioners just got 1. But I'm willing to keep 3. I think the other one should be willing to keep 1. Just keep mowed, weeded, and cleaned up.
Well, I think that man is working that, keep it. The guy that's working the dumpsters could keep it clean.
We'll be responsible for management.
I go around doing bond wear in Oldfield, pushing the open tops, and we pick up what we can.
We move them and we eat them,
Yeah, I think the person working the dump should keep it clean, but like the grounds maintenance, if y'all have mower can run by there.
Oh, we do that when we mow, and we mow
That's
through
what
there.
Yeah, and I think.
Make that motion.
And of course, compactors, I live anybody with compactors. I don't have a problem.
You stay out of precinct 4.
So,
You stay out of precinct.
hey,
All right, motion made,
No, I'm joking.
Commissioner White,
I'd second the motion.
second by Commissioner Powell, all in favor,
Uh,
all against. All right, item number 13. Discuss and approve dissolution of subdivision in precinct 3 known as the LJ Miller subdivision, filed in volume A, page 6, the plat records of Newton County, Texas, pursuant to the Texas Local Government Code, section 212.0139.
Then, this is in your packet. There's a consent.
What packet?
Your.
I didn't get a packet.
Well, I can email.
Y'all get a packet?
I don't,
It's on the shared drive.
It's on the shared drive.
Well, within the packet, there was supposed to be a consent to dissolve the subdivision have been, I believe this is gonna be in precinct 3, right, precinct 3. It was forwarded to me by attorney Gary Gatlin over in Jasper. He has, and I will also disclose the client is my dad, Kenneth Weeks. There are 3 landowners. There's 9 lots in the subdivision. There are three individuals who own the lot. Weeks has 3 through 9. Linda Smith has 1, and a lady named Wanda MacArthur owns the other. They have all agreed and signed a consent to dissolve the subdivision. And because the plat was approved by the Commissioner's Court, because the plat has to be approved by Commissioner's Court, y'all have to approve the dissolution.
And my question on that is, with solving the subdivision, I'm not sure the subdivision of the roads, and subdivision roads, or the county roads?
So really, there is no road. On
Okay,
the plat, there is a road, but it doesn't exist.
okay,
There's a county road, the subdivision abuts a county, but the county road is not within the subdivision.
okay, so we wouldn't have to take over any
No,
maintenance of any
the road was
roads?
never,
Developed.
it's a big field. Which is really the reason for the dissolution. So that road can be absorbed in that.
In the property. I can see that.
So I can't, without the information in front of me, it's hard for me to say it. I just know, So I just know that in Deweyville, this was a big issue. Young man, thank you, Margaret. A young man, bought some property, went to build a home on it. And the bank wouldn't finance it because the survey showed that it was part of a subdivision, but he owned everything in it. They said they still couldn't do it because it was in lots. So it was a real, I think my dad was on the court when that happened. It was a real hindrance to this young couple that wanted, they worked through it and have built a nice home on it now and good taxpayers. So that's my experience with what you're talking about. I don't know.
To change the land ownership, it changes the way it's working. And right now it's in lots and
So it would have to go through the deeds would have to be reworked to so many acres instead of lots 4 through 9.
it would be.
Yes,
If they were to.
that would simplify it for
If they
the,
were transfer, yeah, if they were to transfer it, sell it, it would be.
yes.
So if we dissolve this subdivision, basically the property owners will pay for their own new surveys that do not show a subdivision. So basically we are being charged with or being asked to do nothing from a county's perspective other than vote. And then the landowners would do whatever they need to do. Potentially we increase our tax base.
We're not going to landlock nobody.
Gary Gatlin is handling all of that. He discussed how we agree to present the court voting to dissolve it. But we're not doing it illegal.
The only thing I'd say is probably going forward, it would be a good idea to, rather than one of the landowner's daughters, just for the appearance to the general public. I mean, to me, it's just, I personally don't see an issue.
Ready?
I don't see an issue with it either.
I make the motion. We approve this solution of subdivision in precinct 3.
All right, motion made by Commissioner White,
I second the motion.
second by Commissioner Powell. All in favor? All against? All right. Item number 14, do we have any budget amendment?
Next budget, and I've done a budget amendment for the move $800 from one line item to the DA's office.
And we discussed that previously, so I'll make a motion when we approve the budget amendment to move $800 from Sheriff's payroll account to the district attorney's line.
I second.
All right, motion made by me, second by Commissioner White. All in favor? All against? All right, item number 15 is payment of bills.
Number 010, 81,187. District Attorney State Fund, $98.68. Road and Bridge Precinct 2, $13,476.33. Road and Bridge Precinct 3, $13,476.33. Road and Bridge Precinct 4, $54.94. Commissioner Special Precinct 1, $3,113.59. Commissioner Special Precinct 2, $5,428.65. Commissioner Special Precinct 3, $1,309.06. Commissioner Special Precinct 4, $22,289.91. Record Preservation, $400. Solid Waste Disposal, $725.78. Newton County Library, $849.60. Historical Operating, $281. Pretrial Diversion, -$67.45 for credits. Pretrial, let's see, FEMA grants, $243,046.45. Grants, $3,015, and technology fund, $540.20, for a total of all funds, $389,929.94.
So the 243 is
That
the
is FEMA
annex. payment. So one of the things, on the first sheet here, look at the bills, it's for utilities for the grants building. Is that the building the auditor was in previous to moving to the courthouse?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
I just said, I'm going through this.
About $800 a month for, internet and utilities for that building, for the fit, and nobody's in it.
Nobody's in it, and it's a really nice building.
Yes. As far as the agriculture department, they're moving out there, but right now we don't have an ag agent. State's in the process of hiring one. And then, we found the roof is leaking. So hopefully in January, they'll start moving into that building. And then I'm gonna cut the internet off to the old hospital.
I was just gonna ask if we could sell it rather than pay, but you got plans for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mike's moving to his building. Now, let me clarify, I heard yesterday that the county was renovating Mike's building, and there's no truth to that. Yeah, I was told yesterday that we were paying to renovate his building and moving his office in there. But, basically, Mike come to me and asked to move his office, by his shop to his building and not charge the county rent. I agreed to pay the electricity to his building with his office in there. And that would allow us to cut the internet off to the whole hospital building. So, and that was it.
So with that being said, we're gonna have county employees and everything, we have to have that building covered.
I wouldn't.
That's what it says.
Y'all working on a lease.
So when we go back to this 291 for the grounds creek. So we go back to government code, that's what it should say. So the government code is very specific that position of county officers is decided by the county commissioner's report, not by the judge nor any commissioner. So going forward, and even now, we need to have a motion and make a vote on where the JP of precinct 3 is going to be officed, period. And any office changes throughout the county needs to come to the court. And I asked the question of the tax person, and he was very knowledgeable and gave a really good explanation. He said, the reason you do it with the court is all of the residents throughout the county is represented. You don't have one person deciding where an office should be, but rather a group of people. He went into details of how one person could make a mistake knowingly or unknowingly, but the court holistically would make the right decision. So at some point before JP3 precinct 3 moves, we need to bring it to court and vote on it. And then it's on record and it's the right way to do it.
I wasn't aware of that when, I told Mike move us off.
Am I correct in that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we all found out last week.
Okay.
So we will get that on next quarter. So I just looked at it as a net savings, being able to cut the internet off the whole hospital bill.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not the right thing. I'm just saying we need to follow the law and the way we do things. That way, 3 years from now, somebody says, well, why are they over there? We can go back to a minutes and say, court in 2024 decided this. And all the questions that Sherry's asking, the court can ask. When they vote.
You don't have poker.
What?
The questions you were asking about insurance and what have you, that's why you bring it. That's one of the reasons you bring it to the court decides, because it starts that discussion of insurance, legality of paying for whatever improvements or light bills, all of those.
Leases have to go through the government accounting standard, the gas fees, they all have to go through that. There's a new law, every lease that we have over there, we have to have a copy of the lease. We have to, our outside auditor has to go through all that. I mean, it's just, it comes a lot of the government gas fee stuff. But
But that old hospital you was talking about, the old hospital light bill is just within a few dollars of being as much as the courthouse light bill.
crazy.
It is.
And then the civic center light bill is the courthouse is 1972, the old hospital is 1837, and the civic center is 1781.
Well, if you look at,
Crazy.
during the summer, the dead middle of summer, I've seen the utilities, old hospital ties over $3,000. But if you look, the food bank they have walk-in coolers, they have the outside cooler. Food bank does pull a lot of that electricity.
One of the things I had that I highlighted here was, says a Brooklyn FWSD, and it's TV 195 boat ramp. What is that?
Brooklyn Water,
That's the power out there.
Or like a light at a boat ramp? Okay. I was hoping that's what it was.
I make the motion, we pay the bills.
motion made by Commissioner White.
And before we pay the bills, I guess one thing we need to talk about, back in September, we voted as a court to initiate a spending limit on any outgoing commissioner of $15,000 a month. And since that was voted in, it has not been adhered to. It's been violated every month since. We're on day 5 when this bill pay ended, and precinct 3 commissioners at $14,825. So I don't see how he can finish the year and not be above that. I don't know who should have visited with that outgoing commissioner and said, hey, this is something that was voted in and you need to adhere to it. But whether that's happened or not happened, it's obviously not being adhered to. So I'm not so sure we're not in violation in approving the bills we've approved in the last month. Because in November, the commissioner spent almost $60,000 in 1 month. In fact, it was like less than. And almost 30% of the gross budgeted amount for a commissioner in their commissioner special was spent in less than a month. And that's why we voted it in, to keep that from occurring, but yet it occurred. And I'm troubled by that.
I feel like it's a way. I feel like it's the EA. They want to do it too. Yeah, wow. He should have been notified. I feel like your responsibility is budget commission. They vote on something. It's wrong. That should happen. But you got to
So you think that it's my responsibility to tell them what was voted on in court?
I think it's your, no, I didn't say that. I think it's your job to keep them, everything they do to leave.
It's my job to tell them what the law says, and then maybe the judges to oversee the court and the commissioners individually to decide whether to approve something. It's my job to tell them what the law says. This is what the law says. And the law, the local government code doesn't lay out the procedure for if that specific section is violated. It is there with that amount of minimum. It doesn't say what happens in that. So I don't know. if that's-
It's your job to keep them legal.
Define, keep them legal. That's not
You
a,
have to, you have
Well,
to.
I mean, they voted. It backed that court. He couldn't spend, if they were $1,000 per month, other than his salary.
Without court approval.
Said without.
That's what it says.
If
This is without the majority of the,
So, let me ask you something. If the court approves, pay the bills, and that, is that saying the
I
court?
think it says prior to,
Saying you be legal.
But like, okay, so this money that's on here today was done back in August, September, before it was voted. I I don't know how that, we had to pay the contractor.
so I think.
So I just don't know. That's what I'm
And I don't think that he's specifically talking about that bill for the cable, because, but he's just talking about in general, if he's overspending, like for the month of November, or he's going to for December, and who is gonna stop him?
so for the record, instructions are wrong word. I was advised that it wasn't my place to reach out to a fellow commissioner and instruct them on what they should or shouldn't be doing. That probably should come from the judge's office or the DA's office. That was advice, counsel given to me. Therefore, I haven't. And I agree with it. I don't think Brother Danny should be calling me, telling me what I should or shouldn't do, but I think for me as a commissioner, lesson learned is we have to be very detailed when we vote in things that go as far as to say, you know, how's this communicated? What's this, how do we make sure this happens? Because I just felt confident that when we voted it in, it would be adhered to. And
Did anyone make their document and presented to the person was not here, right?
That's correct.
So
There's-
has he been communicated to about that?
Even know.
That's what I'm asking.
that's my point that I'm making today is that. Yes, so what I'm saying is, I asked if I should, and probably not, that's not your place. Well, who should? So, I've sent emails back when, so unintentionally, we're approving bill pays that, go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. Pay $36,000 for a standalone generator. I did not know that was on the bill pay until on my way home from court, because it was in the road and bridge portion, not in it got by me. But it goes back to the PO system. Money was already spent though.
Some people's illegal, and then I'm letting somebody do something illegal. I don't know you didn't like anything personal, but that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. That's not.
But you,
how I saw it.
did you get the minutes of the court? You don't get them. Should, I think you are legal. Anything that we said, it should go through. I'm saying, they voted, it back to the court. That's the law. It should happen.
I get really thrown off by you saying things like that's the law. But it's because I speak legalese, and that's not legalese. But I understand what you're saying, that you're requesting that I take responsibility for overseeing every person's precinct and making sure they know everything that was voted on in court. So if you're not here next time, I'll make sure to reach out to you and tell you everything that's going on that day before. Okay, Commissioner?
But I'm sure he got the minutes. But he's been for 26 or 28,000 October after he voted in September. And 50,000 or 60,000 in November.
You know what? Take responsibility. My fault.
Now, I'll share the responsibility.
We share.
Yeah, it should have been on us. It should have been on us to,
But when the court voted on, it, that becomes an order of the court. So then if we violate it, well, then that's a violation of the commissioner's court order. What's the penalty for that? That would have had to have been like that in the order. The law is not more complicated than that. It's not, we say you have to do this and then you should be prosecuted. It's got to be set up correctly. So I just want to say that, yes, y'all ordered it. It was violated, allegedly violated, possibly violated. And if you would like me to look into what the penalties are or how you enforce a commissioner's court order, I'd be glad to do that. I don't have that off the top of my head. But I think you are absolutely correct in when you have a commissioner's court, y'all all agree on something, you agree on the order, you vote on it, it's done. I think we would all assume that it would be adhered to. That's the word of the court, and that all court members would adhere. I mean, I wouldn't have anticipated anything different. And if we have a different situation, I think you are exactly right with lessons learned, because we need to, if we need to think about how it's enforced, how it can be enforced legally, and put that into the order. So we may do a doctrine. I will look at that this afternoon and get back with you. But I think it's, we'll assume that it's going to be adhered to. It's the order of the court. Done. But I did not anticipate, okay, how are we going to enforce it? What's going to be done and what are we going to do?
I think that communication piece, without my mind, no one has really communicated that to that. I think that needs to take place. Anytime court change our practices, we should make sure that that's documented. All four commissioners need to have some kind of communication so that there's no doubt now on that everyone knows that this is the practice. This is what we're expecting. This is different than what we've been doing. This is what's expected. Well, you have both your court has voted on that. What I'm saying, the communication has to take place somewhere. So
I think we need to, have it, I'm sorry, but just have it in writing. Each commissioner's and, all the court members' signature. That way, you can't come back later, so I didn't know, well, you signed it. So.
in this case, like I said, he wasn't president. I know I didn't feel like it was my responsibility to go out and tell him. But someone needs to be designated or goes to who it is. Hey, rules and practices, I think it need to be communicated.
Well, I'll just go on record to say this. I did send emails trying to get it communicated to the commissioner. And I made phone calls trying to get it communicated to the commissioner. I was advised that it wasn't my place to do that. And we're sitting here middle of December and it still hasn't been. So those are things, what I just said are things you didn't know, Commissioner White. So
He's right
No,
here.
say,
This you get CMTV and. On the bus, and I'll be responsible. Make sure that's.
And I appreciate that, and I would just say this. I apologize, Commissioner-elect Thompson. On behalf of the court.
All right. Well, after that lengthy discussion, where were we at?
I just need to get the bills.
Okay, did we have a motion to pay the bill? Yeah, Commissioner White made a motion to pay the bill. Need a second.
Got to pay the bills, I second.
All right, second by Commissioner Benson. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Aye. All right.
Not paying the bill?
Like you said, we got, work's been done, we gotta pay the bills.
Well, just answer your question, Mr. Benson. If it's a no-go going forward, it would start a whole discussion about why we're not paying the bills or why we decide we shouldn't. Go from there, but I'm not gonna go into it. If it's 3-1, you guys pay the bill.
That's just the way I look at it. I need my bill paid,
we got a
brother.
Yeah, we got,
I need my
you
bill
too.
paid.
Can you vote on it for, write it for, just put no vote?
It wasn't a no vote. It was here you go. I'll take it.
What will I do without you? We ain't done yet, we still gotta go.
Yeah, we still gotta go back into,
I'm sorry, brother, we've been waiting so long.
Through all this, you're probably making.
You know, you can think that, but to me, everything we talked about today was healthy discussion. I mean, it's an advancement of it. It's not just,
I'm with you.
with. That's right.
You want to executive session?
yeah. All right, we're gonna go into executive session and discuss item number 6 and 7. Reason I know that it wasn't blue or purple here. Okay. All right. All right, court is back in session. And we'll go to item number 7. Consideration of authorizing the county judge to execute the settlement participation and release forms regarding settlement offers from Kroger in the matter of Texas opioid multi-district litigation for the county in the matter of County of Newton versus Endo Health Solutions. So that was the opioid settlement from Kroger. The amount of, it was $11,900. So I need a motion authorizing me to execute the settlement participation and release forms for Newton County.
I make that motion.
Motion is made by Commissioner Benson, second by Commissioner White. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? So I think that concludes our business with a motion from the left side.
We adjourn this lengthy court session.
I second. the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Benson, second by Commissioner White. All in favor? All right. Thank y'all.
I'm not going to Scranton.